Apparently Jacobs didn't think we had very much energy yesterday. Okay. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Sunrise Extra. Hi, guys. Hello. How's it going?
Good morning. Step into our office.
See, I feel like just a second ago, everyone was like way looser, and then we started this.
No,
and,
you know. Well, we were just thinking. You hit us with a bombshell. You told us that our boss thought we were a little bit
boring yesterday
on the show. So I was contemplating about why we were so
boring today.
That just took the energy out of us.
I'm trying to look up the live stream right now on my phone. It's the other thing I'm doing right now.
Oh, it'll take 1 second to refresh.
Because I want to chime in with the viewers' comments.
Yeah. So welcome to Sunrise Extra. Hi, Instagram.
Hello.
Hi, everybody else on J Camera. So, you guys, we posted a question on Facebook, and I am so excited to hear your answers because we've gotten some good ones from people.
Oh, that's us. I was like, hey, that's a pretty good show I'm watching. Oh, that's us.
Stream on his phone. Okay, so we were asking on Facebook, what name would you choose for yourself if you could go back and rename yourself? Or would you keep your name?
No.
So,
chuckle.
I always wanted to be Sarah.
As a kid, you wanted that?
Yeah,
or now would you still pick that?
Now I would keep my name.
Would you spell it with an H at the end or just S-A-R-A?
I think back in the 80s it was popular with H.
Okay.
I don't know. But I always thought it was like so popular and just like normal and pretty because Nina was kind of a weird name. It was Nina, Pinta. People called me in
I get. All right.
Nina the Pinta and the Santa Maria. The Columbus three ships. Yes. So I got Pinta.
The three ships.
From All Saints School. So thanks, boys.
I went very weird.
So
you wanted
Okay, I want to hear what yours are, Brenda, because you've been teasing this. So tell me.
Well, I don't know. You ask, and so I haven't thought about this in a bazillion years, but I had a little overactive imagination when I was a tot. And I must have been probably 5 or 6. I wanted my name to be either Venus or Quita.
Quita?
I have no idea why.
Is that a name?
I don't know.
You would have been made fun of for Quita. I know that.
This was before Venus Williams, too.
That's
I don't
really
even
cool,
know where. Really?
I mean, to
think
of Venus before.
Venus would have been cool.
Venus, yeah.
Quita.
Quita. I'm going to look this up.
Can you imagine?
I know. I have no idea.
How would you spell it? Is it Q-U?
I was 5. I have no idea how it. Yeah. Q-U-I.
So in like play pretend, did you go by Quita?
Well, no, I don't. I think I actually.
Did you write it down in cursive?
Strangers that was my name.
Oh my god!
Like it wasn't just playing. I actually, told somebody. What's your name?
I could have worked with the Venus. Hey, Venus Braxton with the details. But if I had said, Quita, back to you.
Oh my god!
Not so
that would have done it with a chuckle every day.
I hope there's not a Quita watching us.
I know. My apologies.
Good point, Ashley.
I've never heard that name.
Not for me, but for you, that is wonderful.
You are a terrific Quita.
Yes, you are.
Okay, Drew. You have a good answer.
You put this question. I didn't have a name I was dying to be, honestly, but I did say that when I was growing up, I remember it was hard for me, and some days it still is, to say words with the R sound in them, like the R-controlled vowel sound.
Yeah. My daughter can't say R's at all.
Yeah, R's are tough sometimes.
Yeah.
And so I was Drew, but I think when I was little, I had a hard time saying Drew. It was like Drew, and it's like, oh, Joe? You're Joe? No, I'm Drew. I'm Drew. Darn it, why did they name me Drew? So I think I just wanted to be anything that didn't have an R in it. Steve would have been nice.
Maybe Joe.
Joe would have been fine.
What about you?
Phil.
What did you say?
No, but wait, this goes on. So you said even now
that's true. I'm sorry.
you go out.
There's more?
Well, I have a name sometimes I'll use. When you get, I don't know why, I find it necessary to be a wise guy, but you go to the restaurant and you say, how many of you? There's 4 of us. The name, I'll say Doug.
And you say Doug for the reservation.
Yeah, I don't know why I use that name.
Because if you said Drew, then people would be like,
no, it has nothing to do with that. I was
Carney.
doing that before I was ever in TV. I was doing that as a young person. Not always the name Doug, but I like to throw a different name out there.
Fair enough.
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious.
Doug Carney.
Doug Carney.
But my kids, now I'll do it with my kids, and they're like, oh, they'll like turn around like, you're so embarrassed. I'm like, what do you mean embarrassing? They don't know that I'm not Doug.
They probably do.
What did our director
And they're like, this
says
says weird. Now it's weird that you've just called yourself Doug when they clearly recognize you as Drew Carney.
And there's actually there's more to it than that. I'm not even going to go into this part of it.
Please,
But no, I can't. I'm not doing it. Not doing it. I'm not doing it.
Fair enough.
Within the family, there's a reason why Doug is especially funny.
Okay.
But I can't go any further.
Well,
than
now
that.
you've just made
I don't have my
everybody
wife's
curious.
permission to go down that road.
Oh.
Sorry.
It's an in-law story.
Okay.
Okay,
Are you
Ashley.
gonna weigh in?
Yeah.
I don't love my name. Sorry if my mom's watching. I felt like every girl in the 80s was Lindsay or Ashley or Haley or something.
And that's why I wanted that.
Yeah, or
wanted the
Jessica, producer. Yes,
Yeah.
Jessica. They're all like that same, you know, just like today, it's like Olivia and Ava and all that, which I love. They're beautiful names. But I felt like I went to school with a dozen other Ashleys. So my Spanish name in high school was.
Oh, when you could always pick one for class
when
or
you could
something.
pick it, it was in Spanish class. It was Isabella.
Oh.
Or
that's
Isabel,
nice. Yeah.
and I love that name.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
That's a
maybe,
good
maybe
one.
that, I guess.
Yeah.
Bella
In
the ball.
Spanish class,
Yeah.
mine was Barbara.
Barbara.
You wanted to be exotic.
No, that's what they named
That's
me.
Brenda.
Oh, you didn't even
Barbara.
get to pick your own?
No.
Is
I
Brenda
was just
translating to
Nina
Barbara?
because it was the
Senorita
same.
Kraft,
Yeah.
who was our Spanish teacher. I think she named all of us. And my buddy Consuelo.
Barbara.
I like that name.
Yeah, there you go.
I was trying to remember my 10th grade Spanish teacher's name. Now I can't think of it. You just brought up, yeah.
What are some of our viewers
Okay,
saying about names?
so we have a follower, Pamela. She says anything but Pamela. Diane Evart says she chose her own name as a teenager.
Yeah.
so
Oh,
you
that's
can change your
interesting.
own
Yeah,
name.
sure
so
you
that's
could.
kind of cool.
On
We have
Facebook, she's
people
OV
watching from-
Diane.
Yeah.
So did she choose
I
the OV
skipped that
part or the
I
Diane
don't
part?
know.
Oh, turn down the volume,
I
Brenda.
know.
Don't you know how
I just-
extra works?
Shamed you for that. Now I'm doing
Okay,
the
so
same
someone
thing.
on Instagram, Jan, says she wanted to be named Iona after her grandmother.
I knew an Iona.
Arvidas, a Rip City Blazer fan, wanted to be named Arvidas after Arvidas Sabonis. That's hilarious. Hi, guys.
Pamela,
yeah, what name
I
did you
want
guys choose?
Pamela, I want to know what's the story behind the name, because Pamela comments
pretty.
a lot on our social
She's
media.
always
so
watching. Yeah, we love
I feel
her.
like, you know, I see you, girl.
Yeah.
All right.
Marita says, I've always liked my name and no one can say it right. I probably just butchered it.
What is it?
Marita?
I knew a Marita growing up.
Yeah.
Marita
Hi.
Kitzinger.
All these pretty
Oh,
names.
that's cool.
Rod, what
Where
about
did,
you? Rod has the most.
Will you guys put up the misc again? We can show some Facebook comments. Okay, so I posted this. Oh boy, Rod's coming in. We're going to ask him too. So there may be like a huge bright light on this. So Tertiara says, my name is Tertiara. I got it for my birthday. I'm keeping it. Asa also says, I would stay with Asa. I used to be the only Asa in Bend growing up. That was cool. I agree. That is a cool name. Ben says, I would keep mine named after an uncle who was an Army pilot and crashed during World War II, killed in action. That is a very good reason. I like that. Joe says, we're glad you didn't change your name. Nina's a beautiful name.
That's
I hated Joe as a child. It was always being tossed around as some kind of joke. I am the third, with my father sharing the same first, middle, and last names. So, okay, Rod.
Yes.
Rodney, I
I'm gonna
assume,
go
is
with
your.
Ralph.
You didn't want to be
Ralph?
Ralph.
You went from.
No, honestly, so no, I like my name. So, by the way, my friends call me away from work. It's Rodney.
They call you the full name.
I much prefer Rodney over Rod. But here's the deal.
Really?
When I moved,
inside secrets.
So when I moved to Reno and I worked at the ABC station in Reno, when I was young, I really looked like a child. And the news director, my first day, said, why don't we go with Rod? That just sounds
More
older.
adult.
And then it switched to became Rod on the air, and then I just kept it Rod for whatever reason moving forward that time. But I prefer Rodney. My middle name's Lewis, Lewis, which my grandfather was Robert Lewis. So I take great pride in having one of my grandfather's
Should we switch
names.
to Rodney?
So you
I
really
call you
like
Rodney now and again.
Rodney Brown.
Well, now it's just been Rod for so long that
Yeah.
I'm used to it. So
You know, that brings up a memory that in one of my first TV jobs, the old bosses would make reporters change their names to something that was easier to say. And when I think about that, I'm not going to give examples because I'm friends with them all to this day, but can you imagine if that flew today, if they said your name's too whatever sounding, too difficult, too whatever, and then made you change your name? Can you believe that was just like 10 years
I was
ago?
going to say, it's happened here in the last 10 years. I know that with some of our reporters. But Coors
But I
Light
think
is a
that was
little
their
tough.
choice, right?
Not always.
Like
Sometimes
was it the boss
the
thing?
news
I don't
director would say,
know.
hey, can you try something else? Because that's either too hard to pronounce. My friend had an easy to pronounce last name. It was Skripik. Easy to say, but if you tried to spell Skripik, you would never get it right. There were Z's and Y's in there that were unnecessary, so he changed the spelling
I
of his
would be
name. but
so
kept the name.
offended if somebody
Interesting.
told me to change my name, or
Corslin's actually a little bit weird.
it's not easy to say with
So when
my
you say
first
it
name.
correctly, you're saying
Ashley Corslin, but it's
Corslin, like L-I-N, even though there's no E in there.
L-I-E.
It looks like lean.
Yeah.
Of course, lean.
Well, try Melhalf. Mayloff.
I'd rather not try that, thank you very much.
Yeah.
I like my parents' names. This is why I have a hard time with our birthday list and I mess up the names.
Right.
Because my father's name is Bill Hill, and my mother's name is Mary Hill. So I grew up in a
that's
world
funny.
of very simple names.
I can't believe the boss didn't keep Rodney though, because Rodney or Reno Rodney has a rhyme to it. Like,
Reno
hey, it's
Rodney.
Reno Rodney.
Reno Rodney.
I like it. Okay, so we've got some Facebook comments. Warren, which is a cool name. I like that. I'd probably change my name to
too.
Jeff. Jeffrey is his middle
I
name,
love
so he
Warren.
likes that.
That's
cool. Jen says it's very difficult having the name Jennifer Smith. There have got to be 10 billion of us out there having the last name Smith.
Yep.
We have all of our girls' unique first names, so she changed it for her daughters. And JD Foster says, I go by JD, but I made my dots look like a circle, so my friends call the periods
the
JD.
periods.
Yep.
So my friends called me Jodo.
Jodo.
That's
funny.
kind of cool.
That's
All right, so you guys weigh in. If you're watching, you know, we're just playing a fun game. We're gonna start by asking fun questions each morning, so that was good.
Thank you.
So you would go by Isabella, Doug, Quita,
Ralph.
wins
Whatever
it.
Don't forget Ralph.
And
Ralph.
So if you see us out in public,
Don't do it.
call
Do
Brenda
not do
Quita.
Quita Braxton coming at you.
Quita Braxton.
That is awesome.
Oh, good chat.
I hope we find someone named Quita. That would be so great.
You know they're out there.
I know, right?
Do you want to talk about how you made me crack up on the air today?
Oh yeah, I actually missed it. I
You got
walked
time
into
for whatever
it.
you want.
I feel like Nina's in control of the extra program.
fair
She
enough.
says there's time
Let's
left.
do it. Because I missed it. What happened?
Well, you had a story. Brenda was sharing a story on the news about a drug that can serve as either a depressant or a
It's called
stimulant.
kratom. I know it's
right,
not regulated, so lawmakers are kind of doing something about that today. And I was talking about it. I was reading. I was looking this
Doing
way.
your job.
And Drew is over here off my right. And I said the drug can either
Way
be
off to your right, by the way. I
Way
wasn't right
away.
here. I was on the other
within
side
my
of the
peripheral
studio.
vision. And then I said the drug can either be, depending on how much you take, a stimulant or a depressant. And at that moment, startled,
Well, I was just.
he did his Drew move.
Wait.
I was here. I was listening
We
to
need
the
the
story.
camera
I
to
was
show
like, wow,
the-
like that could be tough. You know, you don't know you're going to be up or down.
It
And
was
I-
more jerky.
No,
was
it
pretty-
wasn't any more than that. But what was weird was Brenda started laughing, and it startled me to the point where I realized, okay, what I thought I was just doing in my head, I was actually doing in the studio. She saw it, she laughed, and the whole thing went sideways at that point.
But this happens fairly frequently, but not quite to that
I
extent.
got the giggles, and if you don't know this about me, when I get the giggles, I'm done. Like
You literally said, I'm done.
I am
and
done.
Ashley had
I'm
to take
out.
over.
Yeah, it's hard to continue.
Good for you, though.
Yeah.
You did take over.
Which I usually don't.
You seemed kind of annoyed with me.
No, I'm not usually the person who can
Wow.
push through the giggles, but
You never know what's going to make someone laugh because you were in the room at the time, and so were you, and neither
Yes.
one of you found it that funny. It just happened to be the woman who was trying to do something else at the time
Yes.
found it hysterically funny and couldn't push forward.
I'm thinking about finding new people to work with.
How many jokes did you tell today?
Take me with you.
How many jokes did Rod tell today on the show that didn't actually have a punchline attached to the end of them?
But Nina liked my
funny. I
cow
liked
story of my
it.
dog barking at the cow.
Just a Midwest, you know.
Thank you.
Was it funny because it had a
Rural
good
joke.
punchline, or funny because Rod is just, it was just so bad
he's
it was
just
Rod
funny?
is just so lovable that
That is-
you know,
that
you
I
have
agree
to
with.
Thank
give
you,
him the
Nina.
benefit of the doubt.
I agree with that part.
What do you think?
No one questions your lovability.
Oh my God.
Brenda does.
Lovable. No, I don't. No, I don't. You always give me a hard time.
I would say we had more energy today.
Yeah, no, it was better today, but let's not go down that road. Do you think that we had good energy on the show today? You can chime in with a yes or a no. It's the informal viewer
I like
voice
that.
poll question of the day.
Yeah.
Jenny Carlson did say she loved the
Nina, let's
animals on
run.
yesterday's
I know.
show, so there was at least one viewer who thought yesterday's show was
Oh, the kangaroo
passable.
was great.
Yeah, no,
How could you not love the little kangaroo we had? That was
Did we get all the
fabulous.
pellets picked up?
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw no pellets on the studio floor here today, so someone did their job.
Good, we didn't
Rod, I'm
step
assuming that was
Kangaroo eats well, in case you're wondering what kind of pellets we're talking about.
What, Brian Matthews, our director, is saying he came in and swept the studio. Thank you, Brian.
Yes. we
What else do
appreciate
you
it.
have planned in today's extra program, Nina?
Well, we're going to go through the viewer voice question that you guys had today.
Oh,
which
yeah.
now, off the top of my head,
forget
I
already.
cannot remember
wait a
what it
minute.
is.
oh, jail time for the celebrity parent.
Oh,
You
right,
think
we're
they
talking
should go to
about
jail?
Felicity
The scandal.
Huffman.
The
The
college
college
admission
scandal.
scandal. Yeah.
I'm sorry. I thought you guys were going to talk so I could take it.
TMZ is reporting right now, I'm being told, Lori Loughlin going to get 2 years, what? 2 years?
No.
Oh,
an
the
offer.
offer.
No. If they
Here we go.
If they have a plea deal, they
If they have a plea deal.
could get 2 years minimum, but
2 years minimum.
Community
what?
service?
Prison
or-
time?
prison.
Jeez.
Here's I'm just
Prison.
going to let you read it. Again, this is TMZ, so
They're
I thought
usually
we
right.
had a news story that
Sometime.
said something like up to 6. Did I hear that wrong?
probably-
I thought one of
okay.
our
This
scripts.
is just breaking now.
This is just breaking down, because I thought we read earlier in the show it would be maybe up to 6 months. So apparently it's all over the board. We don't really know how it's going to play out yet.
This much we do know. The majority of our viewers today, and still as they continue to vote, are saying that these parents should get jail time for trying to pay their child's way into the school that they didn't deserve to be in.
Well, isn't the question, what would be a suitable punishment to, I don't want to say hurt the person, but make them feel like they were badly scolded, that they really did something wrong? Because I think a lot of people, maybe I shouldn't say a lot of people, but me, if you're independently wealthy, if you have a lot of money in the bank, you can't give somebody a fine. What does that do? That doesn't do anything.
I think they should
So do you
have to
turn
pay
community service? What do you do?
Scholarships for other kids.
That's not bad. I like
That's what
that.
I think they should do. Take all that money, and it should be a lot
not
of
bad. I
it,
like
and
that.
make them send somebody else's kids to school.
But I'm sorry, this whole thing is
idea.
kind of like funny to me, because to think that these are the only parents who have been, I mean, people have been buying their kids' way into school forever. We think this is just the first, I mean, they need to take a good hard look at these colleges too. The parents are at fault, but so are these universities.
Absolutely.
And I don't see a ton of outrage at these schools.
How bad do you feel for the kid, though? Like Felicity Huffman's daughter, who didn't know this. You know, you take the test, you take the SAT, and you think, oh my God, I got in, like it's amazing, you know, and you're going with your friends. I mean, I would like never speak to my parents again.
I'm pretty confident some of these kids knew they didn't belong in those schools. Like, hey, I got in because I was on the track team, even though I never ran track.
Yeah.
You know what, though? The penalty shouldn't just be about these people. It should be about discouraging or deterring people from doing this moving forward. Because you're right,
true.
These aren't the first parents to probably pull this kind of stunt. But now that it's been brought to light, if they can lay down the hammer, maybe it will discourage people even more so from doing it moving forward.
You are an optimistic man.
You don't think so? I mean, the speeding, the fine on the speeding ticket gets me to slow down a little bit.
Yeah, that's true. So Warren on
won't
Facebook saying, where is he? I think they should do community service to pay back the money. We're also getting some other comments. Let's check out what Lori says. She hopes the Department of Justice will be investigating those that donate to libraries, ballparks, and bribe faculty.
Yeah.
Anna says, you don't do your kids any favors by cheating or buying them into or through college. Time to teach personal responsibility and how to deal with disappointments. Life is full of them, and it makes for healthier adults. Well said.
Yeah.
And Emily says, how can her daughter not know that she went in and told a doctor she had a disability that required extra time on the test? I hadn't heard that part.
I hadn't heard that part either, yeah.
Daryl says the rich really think they are above the law and their money can buy them everything.
See, I know it's not going to stop. Jail time's not going to stop people from doing this necessarily, but I don't know all these individuals personally, but maybe Felicity Huffman, if she knew, like, hey, if you get caught doing this, you're going to get 6 years in jail. Like, that would be like we better not do it.
Yeah,
then,
I don't think
you
she'll do it again.
I don't think she would have done it the first time if she knew how stiff the penalty could have been.
And by the way,
people in general who have a good lawyer and have money, and in our system, you can buy your way out of certain things.
The legal system
I think this is one of them. It's
money.
awful. It's wrong, but it's.
How mad would your daughter be if she found that out? Like she was studying.
I would never ever.
I mean, I know you would never do that,
I can't
but like
even fathom that level of no.
And by the way, kind of maybe a sidebar to this. Do we have a shortage of classrooms, of colleges, of universities? Because there never used to be that. Honestly, when I went to the University of Missouri, I felt like anybody that applied, as long as you had a decent grade average, you got in. Especially if you.
Well, some schools are.
But my point is, it's almost like we have a shortage of universities now, isn't it?
Well, they weren't trying to get kids into the
It
university.
didn't used to be this hard to get in to schools. I don't feel like 40 years ago.
But they wanted to go to Stanford, USC.
I get it, but don't I have some point that all of a sudden it seems like it's difficult to get into any school? And isn't part of the reason why? Isn't it logical to assume that maybe there's a shortage? There's more people trying to get into colleges than we have colleges?
People can't afford
Is that
to
not
get
a possibility?
into colleges. I think that's
but they're still trying to get. Okay, you guys disagree.
I guess it doesn't apply to the story, is what we're saying. I don't think, because these are clearly all.
But it's hard to get in. I'm saying it's harder to get into college now than ever before. I'm saying it wasn't like this 20, 30, 40 years ago.
It may not have been hard for these kids to get into a state school like you and I went to, but it would have been difficult for them on their own to get into what they were trying to get into, which was elite universities with higher standards.
Elevated.
I just want to see these college administrators or whoever it was who knew this was going on, the entrance exam administrator, whatever it is, they need to be arrested as well then. I'm sorry, but why is it that just the parents? You know?
Carol on Facebook says, pay teachers better. Stanford wants Drew to do a dance. Put some fun in the show,
That
Drew.
Stanford is a big fan, I have to say. Thank you, Stanford.
Jeff on Instagram says, when can we homeschool college degrees? That's interesting. I think you can.
Well, it's called college online.
Yeah,
that's
online
college
college.
online. That's what that is.
Online college, yeah.
New man in the ring. New man in the ring. Chris McGinnis.
Well,
Good morning.
Chris, what
stay
name
over
would you
here.
give yourself if you weren't Christopher? Was there a name
Are you
always
Christopher?
wanted?
What's your full name?
I am. That's personal.
No, come on. Really?
Oh, come on.
Christopher Thomas. And I
Christopher
only hear that when I'm in
Did you
trouble.
like it as a kid? Did you want to be named something else?
No, I liked it. I like it. It's,
Like if
it
you had to
sounds like
pick
a
another
good.
name, did you hear Brenda's name?
That man's pretty busy with traffic. Even
Yeah, I
when we're
heard
not-
it.
I know.
When I was little, I wanted to be Quita or Venus.
Venus. I like Venus. She would have been a
I
tennis
like it,
player.
yeah.
Venus.
I did.
Chris is. I can't
It's
even-
about
I
raised
can't say
eyebrows.
I don't know. I
That's it, huh?
got nothing to say. I got nothing. I like my name.
Christopher
I
Thomas
like
is
myself.
happy.
I like my name.
Joining.
It works for me.
Okay.
Did you get called Christopher a lot growing up, or was it always just
I got
Chris?
called. What did I get called? I got various nicknames. I had because of my skinny stature, I got Stickman running in high school. That wasn't. I was, and then it became different variations of that. And then in college, I got Maverick one time because I walked in with the aviator glasses.
Cool.
Oh yeah.
So that was
That's a
kind of
cool one. Did it stick?
that stuck for a little while.
Maverick
Yeah.
McGinnis.
You know,
Yeah.
kids are so mean. Like that should have been a cool nickname, but it probably didn't feel cool because they made you feel like dumb about being Maverick.
Yeah,
right?
something like that. Yeah, but I got to say, actually, the best name that I have to this day I've ever heard of somebody that I ran against in college. I ran for the University of Iowa, one of your proud Iowa
Hawkeyes.
alums, Hawkeyes. Yeah. Stetson Steele.
Whoa.
So was
was
his first
a-
name real Stetson?
Okay,
I don't
change
know,
my name to
but that was his name.
Steele.
And
No, you're
we
Ralph.
do not know each other, but in case he happens to pick up on this, I know that was a fantastic name. I mean, you're lining up on the starting line next to a guy named Stetson Steele. He's probably
Dang.
going to just
That is
wipe the track with
Makes
you.
you feel slow, doesn't it?
Yeah, he was pretty good.
Did you beat him?
He was a couple years ahead of me in college, so I wasn't quite on his level when he was
Gotcha.
running. But
I don't care how much older he was. Was he faster, Chris?
At the time, yes.
Okay.
But let's race now, baby, because I'm getting better in my prime.
Denise is with you on Instagram. Denise says, I got Twiggy because I was tall and skinny.
Yep, that would happen.
I like it. Twiggy.
Or skinny shaming.
But who's got the uncles that their nicknames are based on when they were young? Now they're totally different. I mean, like Skinny, and Skinny weighs like 300 pounds now.
Tiny,
I have
yeah.
that in my family, in my great aunts and uncles. I'm like, where did that name come from?
My full name is actually Andrew. Never went by that. My mom, from the get-go, called me Drew, and it's because my dad, he was also Andrew. Actually, I'm the third. Andrew Joseph Carney the third.
Oh, that's
Really?
fancy.
The only living
good
one,
That is
but I am the
fancy.
third. And she did not want me to be Andrew. She did not want me to be Andy. So immediately she was like, he's Drew. And even the Catholic school nuns called me Drew, which I always thought was pretty cool. They're not going with the biblical name here.
Funny they name you
calling
that,
me
but then
Drew.
they never call you that.
Yeah, I guess they wanted to keep the thing going.
Yeah.
We had the first,
I
we had the
guess
second,
so,
so we
yeah,
got the
the
third, but my
tradition.
mom's like, he may be the third on paper, but he's going to be Drew.
My brother-in-law is Andrew, and he goes by Drew. No
Okay.
one ever calls him Andrew.
Yeah.
it's
And
weird.
she also didn't like Andy, because my dad, I guess, always got Andy. She's like, I'm not having two of those around here.
So you're Christopher Thomas. I'm Brenda Kay. You're Ashley Jolynn.
Ashley Jolynn. That's
What's your
pretty.
middle name?
Nina Nicole.
Yeah.
And am I right about
That's what I
this?
like that.
Maybe we could just do a whole show with middle names, just once.
This is a random thought that just came back in my head. Were you an only child?
Yes.
And you were an only child?
No,
I have
she has
three siblings and two step
The
siblings.
thought
there are
stops
six
right
of
there.
us.
Never mind.
She's told stories in the
family.
past of being mean
I
to
knew
her
you
sisters.
are.
Yeah.
And you are. You're not.
Yeah.
Sorry. You have how many brothers and sisters?
Well, 5, including my step sibling. There's 6 of us in our big blended
Wow,
family.
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Never mind. Thought is dead. I apologize for interrupting.
What was the thought?
Well, that was just, that was weird that the three of you would all be only children. But again, it's a completely unnecessary thought right now. Don't you think that would have been
not
random?
true.
I have to go prep for
All
an
right.
interview with
I know
Rodneys.
Brenda's got to get ready for the debate.
All right.
So, hey,
Kill the
Ron,
show.
follow
Thank
me.
you very much.
Let's
It's
talk
time to
about
go.
weather.
Oh, weather. Dun, da, da.
Let's go talk about weather. Let's walk in the newsroom,
Are we
guys.
walking and talking?
We're walking. We're
You know,
talking.
so one thing I thought we
you
focused
thinking?
on our coverage this morning was that we have all these flooding stories, but you know, for the majority of our viewing area, it really hasn't been that much rain going back to last week.
Yeah.
And then today it's going to turn out to be mainly some breaks and about 60, which is pretty good. So the flooding headlines, though, the Willamette, remember, that's still going up. They're releasing all that water from the reservoirs we're talking about down in Marion County,
Right.
Albany and Salem and Corvallis. So that river sharply rising today, not cresting until it looks like tomorrow morning, and in some of those spots, I know the Willamette at Corvallis, some 2 to 3 feet above flood stage. But away from the Willamette or other smaller rivers, I believe I'm correct, because I checked them all, that they are all now slowly going down today. Not rapid declines, but at least they've hit their absolute high point and they're receding.
Yeah.
So that's good news. But
we got a high point here on the 7-day forecast.
You like Friday, don't you?
I love Friday.
Yeah, Friday. Yesterday we had 62. It caught nobody's attention. We changed it to a 63, and now everybody's talking about it.
You put a sunshine on there, man.
Well, we had a sun yesterday. We had a shower, and the wording was shower chance. I mean, it looked like it was a partly cloudy day. Weren't saying a 0% chance of rain, but now it looks like confidence is building that Friday will be completely dry. And then rain picks back up during the day Saturday. By the way, the rain that develops tomorrow afternoon, not sure the timing. Is it raining by 1 o'clock? That's what Futurecast likes. Or could we stay dry until more like 4 or 5? Not sure about that yet. But steady rain tomorrow evening, Wednesday overnight through maybe noon Thursday. That is the potential to be 3/4, maybe even an inch of rain in some spots. I haven't seen to where the Weather Service or the hydrologists in our area believe that that's going to have much of an impact at all in these river levels we've been following, so that's good news.
Tons of water. I just saw Jeff on Instagram says my wife hydroplaned on I-84 yesterday out near Multnomah Falls. Yeah.
Had some heavy showers that hit yesterday afternoon.
Kind of in the gorge area.
The steady rain.
Crazy.
Broke in. But you know what's weird, and we were talking about this in the newsroom yesterday, and I've been here since 1999 for 20 years. Starting to feel like a local. I mean, it really wasn't that much rain.
It doesn't feel like that much rain. I'm
to
surprised
Friday,
flooding.
And the snowpack isn't that big, and the temperatures weren't really that warm for rapid melt. And we haven't had a chance, I don't believe, to really have a one-on-one with the engineers that run those dam levels. But it seems like, is that part of the story?
Right, that they're releasing more.
Because it just didn't seem like Mother Nature delivered enough of a punch.
I totally agree. It doesn't feel
for the
like
problem that we're having.
Crazy in winter. So we'll watch it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to keep on it for noon today. But that does it for us. I hope you guys had fun chatting with us after the show. What name would you choose if you could go back and rename yourself?
Ralph.
Ralph here. Sarah. We'll see you tomorrow on Sunrise Extra. Bye.